There are some cute ones.
Always, always. So send those in. For the 10th year, the Northwest Michigan Housing Summit brought community leaders together to talk about problems and solutions.
Yeah, the event features housing agencies, financiers, and other partners, all focused on expanding housing throughout the region. And with us today to talk about this year's Housing Summit, Housing North's Executive Director, Yarrow Brown, is joining us. Hi, Yarrow. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Give us a rundown of this most recent Housing Summit and what it's really all about. Who's involved and what do you guys talk about?
Well, housing obviously is the theme, but we've been coming together for 10 years now, and it involves many people locally in the community, but also state agencies, developers, housing advocates, units of government. So really anybody who is engaged and wants to help work towards housing solutions in our region.
And were there any big themes that people were kind of bringing to the table this year? Whether it was business owners maybe or housing developers, were there any big themes that people were talking about at this year's summit?
Yeah, each year we do pick a theme, and this year it was collaboration and innovation. So we really tried to tie that into each of the sessions and the presentation. So we focused on different collaboratives and housing partnerships that were formed, communities that are using the different housing tools, and some examples of how they're collaborating to bring housing solutions throughout the region and even throughout the state. We also had the state agencies, so about 6 different leaders from the state agencies come and talk about important programs and opportunities for our region to consider and work towards.
Yarrow, talk to me about maybe what you've seen over the years. You said this is the 10th year for the summit, but what have you seen? What's changed and what hasn't? Because we're still talking about housing as a critical need up north.
Yeah, I would say a lot has changed. While housing, we say is a marathon, not a sprint. It does take a lot of time. But since 2014, I've only been part of the summit for the last 5 years, but I would say it's grown in capacity and also just the type of content and folks that we bring in to talk about housing, because every year we're learning something new or coming up with a new keynote or idea. So we did bring in Becky McCrae from Oklahoma to talk about an idea-friendly way to save your town. So while not specifically housing focused, I think a lot of the communities and organizations took some ideas away from there. And then we brought in actually a comedian from LA who talked about why housing breaks your brain. So there was some interesting content, about how we can help make changes both locally, regionally, and then how to talk about housing, because it can be very divisive and uncomfortable when our region maybe doesn't want the change that's coming, but we are a desirable place to live. So we want to make sure we have the housing for people who live here year round.
I like that, a comedian from LA, really thinking outside the box there.
Yeah, it was great. And I think, we had over 220 people come. We expanded it to include a bus tour this year so people could actually go and visit the different projects in the near area in Benzie and Leelanau counties and in Grand Traverse County. And then we created a walking tour, which is still available on our website, where in Traverse City, you can see 7 different types of housing projects on the 8th Street corridor. So we're hoping, people will continue to engage and think about ways everybody can participate in housing solutions in our region.
I love that. Now, if people want to participate in the 2025 summit, how can people reach out?
They can email me or go on our website. We have a page just for the Housing Summit. We're always looking for sponsors. This year we had over 30 sponsors of the summit, and then we do registration in August. We're also putting out requests for proposals. So if you have ideas about content or workshops or things you want to bring to the summit, just go to housingnorth.org and go to Housing Summit under events.
Yeah, we've got about 1 minute left. I wanted to ask you about just maybe some of the changes in attitudes over the last several years towards addressing these housing crises. Before, I've attended some of these summits in the past as a news reporter, and I can recall conversations about affordable housing and different options and certain credits and income ratios and just all these solutions to try to make things work. Are those attitudes changing? Are you seeing more developers and even local governments, cities, townships getting on board?
Yes, for sure. We still have a lot of work to do, but I would say our region is really leading, and we were some of the first communities in the region to apply for some of the new housing tools and opportunities. There's still a long road to go, and I think it's still a lot of conversations to be had, but what we call housing ready communities, I would say we have at least 30 in our community, in our region, and we're seeing more and more people join and try to help with housing advocacy and solutions.
Excellent. Yarrow Brown with Housing North, Executive Director there. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll send folks to Housing North for more information through our website, 9and10news.com.
Yeah.
Yarrow, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.